Boom, boom, boom. Okay, we are now live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. If you're unfamiliar with me, I'm Olivia Rondo, and today we have a very special guest on, David Fite, who I actually became familiar with originally on Twitter, and then I saw this interesting conversation he had with Reed Coverdale, who was on my channel last week, and I just had to talk to him because I was like, this conversation blew my mind. I sat there, I watched, it was on Reed's channel, so it's called the Naturalist Capitalist channel, and it was like a 2 hour long conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I got drunk and watched it all. I'm not gonna hold you. It was really funny. It was fucking hilarious. But it also kind of blew my mind. Like some of the questions that I have about religion and philosophy, and especially how it relates to politics and libertarianism, you
Mm.
had some really interesting answers on that. But before we get into that part of the video, just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, all that.
All right. Well, thank you for that introduction.
You're
That
welcome.
was probably uh, the fact that people enjoyed that episode makes me happy because
It was
Reed and I,
hilarious.
when we stopped recording that, Reed and I both were like, "We're getting canceled for this episode." Like,
Why would you get
for
canceled? I
sure.
thought it was like
I mean,
hilarious.
within the first like 20 minutes, we're complimenting Nazi uniforms and the Nazi flags. So like that was a thing. Um, but there was the in context, it's fine, guys. I promise. Go watch it. Uh, but yeah, so I'm David Fite. I am an active member of the Libertarian Party. I serve on the New York State Libertarian Committee, and I'm also the deputy campaign manager for Stacey Pressman for mayor of New York City. Also got a whole bunch of other like random titles throughout the party, but those are the things that I'm mostly working on right now. I also have my own show, the Fight for Liberty show, where we talk to people that are actively engaging in liberty in their everyday life and try to figure out how people can do that better. Or sometimes we just talk about random BS, like when Reed comes back on, because we've both been on each other's shows, like I think 6 times each or something
Oh,
like that
really?
now.
Okay, now I have
It's
to binge watch all of them because I've only seen, I think it was episode 80, but I saw you, even since then, you've been back on this channel, right?
mm, I think
So,
yeah, I've been back on his channel and he's been on mine, I think twice since then also. So actually we have a
okay,
show
I have to catch
together
up.
on my or that's on my channel. That's every
Oh,
Monday night at 11 p.m. Eastern. It's
okay. I
me and
wasn't even
Reed.
aware of that.
Yeah. So that just started like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So we haven't been marketing it that much. But yeah, so every Monday night at 11, it's me and Reed and our friend
I literally
Stacey.
just commented.
Fucking don't watch.
I'm literally about to go back and watch that shit because I thought it was hilarious. And I thought it was so funny because I actually commented on the video. I was like, wow, this is like my favorite video. And he got mad at me. He was like, don't watch that shit. Um, and I saw it, your YouTube channel, and I think I saw you had a conversation with Elaine, right? Libertarian Redhead.
Hmm.
And that was the one I had the time to watch yesterday, and I also thought that was very interesting. And she's really smart. I do want to have her on my
She's
channel again.
great. I love Elaine. She is one of my favorite people in the liberty movement. She was one of the first people I found in the liberty movement. When I
Mhm.
first got on Twitter, it was like Steffi Cole, Libertarian Redhead, and Hannah Cox were like the first three people of like
I love
Liberty
Hannah.
Twitter
I love
that
Hannah.
I found out about. Hannah's awesome. I actually was in a clubhouse room with her last night, and I was fangirling the entire time.
She's been on Clubhouse a lot lately. There's been some cool libertarian people on Clubhouse. There was a Ron Paul Clubhouse like 2 days ago.
That was
Justin
fucking
Amash will
awesome.
randomly pop into a bunch of different fucking Clubhouse rooms. It's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, Jess Mears and I actually hosted a clubhouse room last night that ended up containing Justin Amash, Matt and Terry Kibbe, Eric Brakey, Hannah Cox, no, not Jack Dorsey, Jack Hunter. Sorry.
I was gonna lose
Um,
my shit. Jack Dorsey. I was like,
yeah,
whoa,
no.
whoa,
Freudian slip.
nice.
I wish I could get a piece of Jack Dorsey, but uh, no, Jack Hunter, who's also awesome. It was
Yeah,
a
he's cool.
fucking great conversation. And Jess and I just like started the room up. We were like, maybe some cool people will show up. And it ended up being like,
I joined for like 10 minutes and then I had to go do something, but I was there for a little bit.
it
But
was,
I want to ask Hannah to come on here too. I think she would, because she's like she's one of my nicer Twitter mutuals who are like actually like comment on my shit. So she seems really nice. I also DM'd Bricky. I was like, please come on my channel, and then I'm still waiting to hear back from his final response. He was like, I'll make a decision. I was like, okay,
I've
whatever.
been waiting to ask him because we haven't had exactly great exchanges on Twitter.
Oh,
Um,
really?
well,
About okay,
I'm a
so
little,
expand.
I'm a little vocally critical of Young Americans for Liberty sometimes.
Is it the fact
And
that it's a lot of Republicans?
I mean, yeah, due to the fact that almost everything Eric says about the candidates is a lie. Um, the
Like what?
Ron
Like
Paul
what?
style Republicans who want to recriminalize marijuana and build a border
Who? Wait,
wall.
who? Inform me, because I don't want to be supporting people like that. Like, inform me.
Well,
Who's doing that?
so one thing that I will say, so I actually have been less critical of Yao over the last couple of months because they're going through leadership change, and I have high hopes for what comes in a post Justin Grice, Cliff Maloney, Yao. I have a
Me
lot of
too.
hope.
Me
So
too.
I've been reserving my critiques. They haven't really been engaged in any real campaigns since then. So I'm holding back on what I have to say about Yao going forward. But in the past, I've worked on I worked on a campaign in Michigan for this kid named Chase Turner, who came to our house, like to the campaign house. We got drunk. We got stoned. He smoked my weed, and then we sat there, like this was pretty late on into the night, where we just got into a deep philosophical discussion where he's explaining why he thinks Michigan should recriminalize recreational marijuana.
What? For
And I'm like,
what? What was his fucking reasoning?
uh, some like paleo conservative BS of like that it should only be, well, his argument was really that like he understands that cannabis is really helpful, but if it's you're using it in a helpful way, then it's medical and you don't need it recreationally. And I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up.
But how did he reconcile him just smoking it recreationally?
I don't like I
Did he
he
view that as
didn't
like
he
medical? He
didn't
was
that was the point. I was like, dude, we're stoned right now, like what are you.
we're still having this conversation.
I didn't I which I will give him a little bit of credit, like he was stoned, and I know that this was probably like the second or third time he'd ever smoked. So like he was blasted, so I give him credit, or I give him like a little bit of a pass that he was just talking out of his ass stoned. But like I worked with after I worked with Make Liberty Win, then they also put me off to like some of the other sister organizations like Grice's. We support Jesus Christ.
Love
Um,
that.
so I ended up in South Carolina working for Donald Trump and Lindsey Graham while I was working for Justin Grice.
Oh, I love that.
So that was
That was
where I
with
was like,
Yao?
all
That
right,
can't have been with Yao.
I'm
That was
done.
MTM, right?
Yeah, it was MTM.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's different. That's
It's
different.
different, kind of, sort of, but it's still Justin Grice, and it's still the same pay structure, and it's still all of the same employees, and
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
still
But
like,
it's even more disorganized because whatever HR you thought existed in Yale does not fucking exist in MTM. So
yeah.
honestly, so I did an MTM campaign. That was when I did the Senate runoffs in Georgia, and honestly, it could have been worse. It could have been worse. There was definitely some issues with management. Grice had called me like 4 or 5 days before the campaign ended. Is like, what should we be doing differently? I'm like, the group chats were like, I don't know if it's like a thing on every campaign or just that one, but literally the group chats were so confusing and discombobulated that everyone was getting into fights all the time. No one was fucking communicating. There was like 15
Well,
different group chats. It was like,
so that
but that
campaign,
never happened on the Yao shit. That would only happen in like the MTM shit because I feel like it was much more disorganized.
Yeah, one thing I'll say, so I actually never made it to Georgia for anyone, but I had a bunch of friends that were there on both sides because I spent all of 2020 being a political mercenary. So I made friends all over the place, and I had a bunch of friends there. They all said that that was the most clusterfuck campaign they have ever worked on. Like, no matter which company you were working for in Georgia, like on either side, like any of the candidates or just like a random offshoot pack,
Yeah,
they were all a clusterfuck because it's the
yeah,
only thing going on in
yeah.
the entire
The
country when it was
Democrats,
happening.
they got in trouble because some Democrat canvassers, they have been caught stealing packages, like Amazon packages from doors
Oh
down
my
there.
god.
So there was definitely some drama. Like we would run into other canvassers all the time. Like literally, like I would run into Democrat canvassers like 3, 4 times a day.
Hmm.
And we would like there was like literally beef.
I loved running into other canvassers when they were friendly. Like we would run into like political issue canvassers a lot when I was in Michigan.
Hmm.
And so like I don't care. You're not canvassing for our opponent. So as long as you're not canvassing for my opponent, like we're cool.
I
I'll let
never
you know
liked
which
any of the
houses on
ones that
this
I
this
met.
street I already knocked on and no one was home. Like so you don't waste your time waiting. Like,
Hmm.
just help a friend out.
There were some that tried to like approach me in a nice way because they just assumed I was knocking for their candidate. I mean, like, I get it.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I, I,
Hmm.
I'm
Are you
honestly at a
implying
loss.
that Democratic operatives might be racist in some way?
I don't know. But this old ass white lady came up to me when I was in Georgia, and she was like, "Oh my god, it's so nice to see young people out here campaigning just like me." And I hold up my fucking David Perdue lit. Oh, it's so cringe. I hold up my fucking David Perdue lit. I'm like, thanks. And this bitch was like, "Mm, okay." Like they start off very nice to me because like they're like, yeah, this. I mean, I don't look like I'm out campaigning for David Perdue is all I'll say, but it's just it comes across as a surprise. I love it though.
Yeah, super fun.
Uh, the cops though, I can't deal with getting the cops caught on me every goddamn day though. I don't want to do that shit anymore.
Mm-mm.
In
I
Missouri, it was a lot
I am
worse.
a pussy when it comes to that shit. If it says no trespassing, I'm not going there.
Yeah, fuck that.
Like
I
fuck
don't
that.
care what ED is like. You're gonna stay out till 8 o'clock and knock 300 fucking doors if you don't. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I will do that
Mm-mm.
rather than go into a gated community, bro.
Oh yeah. Yeah, same. Well, I mean, actually, gated communities, if I can get in, I'm not against that one. As long as they're not like super secure, I'll go into a gated community
I've
because
gone
I
into a couple
I
gated, but the
yeah,
gate was
I
open. It wasn't like I snuck in. The gate was like
mhm.
open.
Yeah. I'm like pretty good with like snobby like rich people. Um,
I'm
it's
not.
I've worked in retail most of my like my early adult life, and then was in finance, and then now politics. And so like talking to like 45, 55-year old like rich housewives is like
Yeah.
something that I'm pretty good at and pretty used to. So a gated community is my bread and butter when it comes to door knocking. Like
To
get a
me,
bottle of
I just
water if I need it.
oh my god, that's really lucky. One time, one lady came out of her house and gave me a bottle of water. I was like, "Thank you," and it was in like the heat of July in Missouri. It was
Mm,
literally the worst.
yeah.
Um, the
Y'all, if
people,
anybody ever knocks on your door, offer them a fucking bottle of water. They need it. And if they say no, give it to them anyway because they're just being nice and they need it. Give it to them. Like,
the lady that gave me water, it was like some fancy ass like strawberry infused water. It wasn't even like some Deer Park or some shit. I
mm,
was like, but anyways, we've been talking for like 15 minutes and we haven't even talked about the topic of the video. I wanted to go into, you don't have to go too into detail. Like if I'm asking like such a personal question, like just say like no.
I'm an open book for the most part.
Okay.
There's not much I want.
So let's talk about your personal faith journey a little bit. So you grew up religious, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So what were you your Christian denomination,
Mhm.
right? What
Yeah.
denomination was that again?
It was a Christian Missionary Alliance, which is
Okay, I don't know what that is.
ideologically kind of Baptist, like in the bigger groups that for the
Okay.
most part think Baptist, just with like a really heavy focus on like foreign missions. Like it was a really bureaucratic organization that funneled
They're
money
always doing
up.
like mission trips like Africa and shit.
Oh yeah, and like we funded a lot of like full-time like missionaries that were out in the
Oh,
field.
okay.
Like we had like 1,000 and some odd missionaries like out across the world, that I got to like go meet and like would come to the church. So like really heavily missions focused, but like as far as the dumb internal drama, think Baptist.
Why do missionaries get such a bad rap? Because I feel like there's such like a weird I don't think I don't know. I don't think it's like inherently like racist or like colonial and shit like how the left tries to paint them, but I don't know. I don't know what to think about them. It seems kind of weird, but it's also like they're trying to do a right thing, but it also can be like mismanaged. I don't know.
Yeah, so I think that they get a bad rap because people on the left that are giving them that bad rap just kind of hate Christianity, most of them, first of all. And they also are quite like tribalistic about it. They think that religion in is a what's the word? I'm like a cultural thing. And if you really believe in Christianity or really any religion at all, like you don't believe that. Like you believe that you can fit your religion into whatever culture you want. Like we're not going into Africa to try to make them civilized. We're just trying to get them saved. Like that,
Mhm.
and that came out wrong. But but that's how they paint it. Is that we're
Yeah.
trying to like spread westernization.
Like colonize them. Like people
Yeah,
paint
and
it like they're
it's
trying to colonize them.
yeah, and it's not that. In fact, most of my friends, because I actually benefited from my church. That in the small town that I grew up in, there was three separate families, like three kids that had grown up in the church that were my parents' age that had become missionaries. So and they would come back like one out of every 4 years. So I grew up with their kids, and like so I had probably like 20 like really close friends growing up that were missionaries. And so I got to experience what that was like
Wow.
a little bit, and I got to actually visit them all in the field, or not all of them, but like a bunch of them. Uh, and they're doing their best to adapt to culture. They're not trying to bring Western culture to wherever they are. And most of my friends were in fairly like westernized countries anyway, like Russia and South Korea. Pretty like modernized and like norm. Like there isn't much of a cultural difference anyway.
Mhm.
But I think just trying to paint religion and culture as the same thing, I think is the biggest mistake. Uh,
Okay. I've never really made that connection before because I've always like pondered that because I did not grow up around missionaries. I don't think I know anyone who's a missionary.
mhm,
So I really don't understand why they got a bad rap. I do understand why it could be seemed as kind of problematic if you do, paint religion and culture with the same brush. So
mhm.
yeah, I definitely see your point. But so you started off Christian. Were you like very, very always secure in your faith and it was like sudden, or did you like kind of make it gradual?
Hmm. So I'll say that there was a couple of I had an on and off relationship with God for a little while, but it was an on and off relationship, in the kind of toxic like way where you're still in a relationship the whole time. I never really questioned creationism. I didn't
Oh,
question
you're one of
like
those.
yeah, I was like a new Earth creationist for quite
Oh my
some
God.
time.
So what is that? Because I don't know why people say that the Earth is 6,000 years old. I've never read any whatever creation shit before.
So I 6,000 sounds like not enough. But
Oh, but
uh,
it's in like the thousands though. It's not like the
yeah,
millions.
right. It's just based like taking the if you take the Bible literally, and you do the math, yeah, it should be like around 10,000, or yeah, like 8 to 10,000
Oh,
years old, something like that. If you take the Genesis, literally
Oh,
in
like
all
literally
of
on
it.
the first day, on the second
Yeah.
day.
Yeah,
Oh,
if you pretend that the entire world was created in a week and then go from there, from like human, like the first human, uh, I don't know what if the like evolutionary timeline would agree with this or not, but like yeah, if you're pretending that everything else happened in a week and then we're going from Adam to
yeah.
now, yeah,
Okay,
then it's only 10,000 years or so,
I
you
get
know,
it.
that was what I believed for so long.
Shout out. Your guess is less libertarian than Mitt Romney. Do you disagree with that?
Um yeah. Well, no, I think Mitt Romney is actually extremely libertarian, so I would agree
Oh,
with you.
really?
Just kidding. No, not at all.
Okay. I was gonna ask you to further explain that one because
Oh
that
no.
confused me.
So I will say though that Mitt Romney is the person that made me want to become a politician.
Really?
Yes, watching his presidential campaign.
Why?
That's I okay, because I thought first of all, I thought he was kind of cool because I was young and I just respected
Who
like
the
the
fuck thinks
businessman.
Mitt
Like
Romney is cool?
I just love like I was obsessed with like the idea of like growing up and being like a businessman. Like that's what I wanted to be when I grew up. I was getting ready to go to
Yeah,
college,
Trump
like go
is
to business
cool.
school.
Trump is cool for that. Mitt Romney, not cool.
Well, for to be fair, this was pre-Trump, but like Mitt Romney did what I wanted to do. He got rich and then ran for president. Like that was kind of like my goal in life. And I was like, somebody did it, so that means I can do it. And it just like really solidified like, yeah, that's the path that I want to take. Like I want to go help a bunch of people and get rich doing so and then run for president. Like that's the plan. Plans
That
changed
sounds
since
great.
then, but
So
you
what's
know.
your plan now?
Ooh, there are so many plans in the works right now that I don't
Okay.
actually know which one is going to work. But at the moment, the plan is help as many candidates as I can for the next however long it takes for us to have a libertarian president.
Okay, and when do you think that will be? What year?
Hmm. So actually, I'll say something controversial because I'll walk that back a little bit because I don't actually think there should be a libertarian president, but
Okay,
it,
this is controversial. Please elaborate.
I think that the president should not be part of any party. I think the president should be an independent. I think the the right president is gonna or the president the person that actually wins and bucks the two-party system and changes the country for the better is somebody that has completely sworn off party politics and said no, fuck all of you, I am an independent, I represent America, I don't represent any party. I think
That makes
that's
sense.
the message that's gonna
Mm.
win.
This is some designated survivor type shit. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
Yup.
Yeah. Yeah,
This
I
is
mean, he
literally some
turns out to
designated
be a
shit.
little bit shittier than you hope,
Dude, when the
but
first thing he did when he got in office, sorry for the spoilers, the first thing he did when he got in the office is pass gun control. Yeah, fuck off. Fuck off, President
yeah,
Kirkman. Fuck off. Yeah, that
yeah.
pissed me off.
But I loved his rhetoric. Like his rhetoric really spoke to
Yeah.
me, and I binge watched it while I was on the Tulsi Gabbard campaign,
Okay,
so
I'm
it
on
was
season 2,
definitely like,
so don't say that ending.
oh, I think I'm only on like season 3 or 4.
There's only
I'm not
3 seasons, I'm
three
pretty
seasons.
sure.
Is there only? Because I know I
Maybe
haven't
4.
finished it, so maybe I'm only halfway through
Okay.
season 3,
Okay.
something like that. But it's a good show. Um, Fun
It
time.
is,
But
but
yeah, I
it
really
definitely
believe that.
does get a little too lib for me at points when they
Mhm.
talk about like the gun control shit.
Yeah. I mean, he's just wrong. He's not a bad guy. He's just a
Oh,
guy
and
with
every time he says
wrong.
that FDR is his favorite president, I just want to kill myself. It's that part is really infuriating to me.
That yeah, that's
Whose favorite president is FDR? Like I literally don't know anyone whose favorite president is
who's
FDR.
your
That's
favorite president?
I didn't feel like I was literally just thinking about that today. I was just like I feel like I'm the only person on political Twitter that hasn't decided. I really don't know. I have to think about it more in depth. But
My favorite is William Henry Harrison
why?
because he died about a month and a half in office and didn't do anything.
Oh wait. Okay, I think I did hear about that. I don't know much about all the presidents.
Yeah, he wasn't able
That's
to
why I
be
have to
terrible. Every
research
other
it.
president is a war criminal. Like literally. There's like 3 presidents
Oh,
that aren't, and they are, and it's because they died like too soon into office to really do any war crimes. All the rest of them war criminals.
oh,
Like
I love that. Okay,
from literally from
maybe he'll be my
Washington
favorite
on.
president. Maybe he'll be my favorite president too. You know what? I always get a side eye when people say their favorite president is FDR or like just an objectively awful president, and people are just like, yeah, I just I don't know.
I love the
I
people that say Clinton, which I actually hear
Who
more
the fuck
often
says
than you would
Clinton?
think. A lot of people, especially in the like 55 to 70-year-old age group.
Democrats?
Yeah, like, or just like more independence. They like, because he was really like, he was actually not a bad president, like on a political level. He didn't, of the ones of my lifetime at least, like he actually kind of is the best because he didn't do that much terrible shit. He was spending most of his time fucking all of his aides, so he didn't have
Hmm.
time to like be doing terrible things. He had a balanced budget. Like he was the last time we had a balanced budget.
Really?
uh yeah, so and he was he's a jazz musician and sexy, and like all the ladies loved him when he was president, and just that love affair is still exists. It's weird. It's super weird because people don't understand that he's still like armed terrorists and you know
Nice.
started coups. So those are still things that he did. Like he wasn't great, but compared to like the person that lied us into the Afghanistan war, I'd consider him better. Like,
Okay. That's fair enough. I have to do more research and just decide who my favorite president is. I feel like I don't want to be stupid and just say like I feel like everyone who like doesn't care about politics, basic ass answer is just like Abraham Lincoln because he freed the slaves. So
oof. Oh, he's in my top 5 worst.
okay, I feel like a lot of libertarians hate Abraham Lincoln, but tell me why you do.
Well, he so there's the super textbook libertarian answer of he's the one that created the idea of the income tax. Um and implemented it for the first time in America. But then you have the more philosophical side of it, where you know he committed crimes against his own people and killed like 600,000 of his own citizens in a war that should have never have happened, because everything that happened up to that point was completely within the bounds of the Constitution. Like the Constitution was written so that we could secede if we wanted to. The war was completely illegal and unconstitutional. And then if you look at the Emancipation Proclamation itself, it only frees the slaves in the southern states. He didn't give a shit about freeing the slaves. And there's actually so much evidence that you can find of him talking about how little he cared about freeing the slaves. He just wanted to fuck over the southern states. That's why he passed the Emancipation Proclamation. He actually didn't even want to free the slaves.
I definitely knew he was a racist. I definitely knew he really
Yeah,
didn't give a fuck about black people.
yeah,
It was kind of more of a political move.
yeah. All
But
of his best
I don't know
qualities
if I
are
disagree
fake.
with the entire concept of going to war over it though, because I don't know if I was a slave, I'd probably want someone to go to war to free me. I don't know.
I mean, I definitely I can understand like a philosophical backing of that, but if you want to go from like a pure uh constitutionalist or libertarian kind of a mindset of like the non-aggression principle or something, of
What
or
about the
just
non-aggression principle for the slaves? What the fuck?
I mean
What the
that's
fuck?
fair. That is fair. That is
What?
actually a really I mean
People are like, the states' rights, the states' rights, the states' rights to do what, bitch? Say it. Say it.
right,
What about the not for the
right,
fucking slave?
right. Yeah, and it's really funny because people like if you asked who cared more about freeing the slaves, Thomas Jefferson or Abraham Lincoln, like most people in America would assume Abraham Lincoln, but that's not true. Like Thomas Jefferson did more work to try to free the slaves than
Didn't he
Lincoln
own a bunch of
actually really
slaves?
did. He
Didn't
did.
he own a slave?
He did, and it's actually one of the more like weird, intricate like talking points of that conversation is the fact that he did own slaves, but he wrote about like why he hadn't freed his own slaves, and it was literally because everyone around him also, like the people that owned the plantations around his were all like notoriously bad slave owners, and like he was legitimately worried that if he didn't still like own them and the property rights didn't exist to where they would have to deal with him if they did anything to these people, they would just come and take them, or like if they tried to like leave, they would not make it through these other people's properties.
Okay, but why
So
did he sleep with that one slave and have her live in like the little slave house?
I'm not backing up like
I'm just
Jefferson as
saying, if
a
he
great
was just such
person, like
a righteous slave owner, he wouldn't have had this little
I
side
mean,
slave in the little slave quarters.
it, there is a question of whether or not that was like completely consensual, and there's a
I don't think a
possibility
slave
there.
can consent. Even if the slave said yes, I feel like a property could not consent.
Uh, that that's a good. I completely agree with you there. I'm just yeah.
Okay, David.
I I don't know. I don't know why Jefferson was a terrible person sometimes, but I do have an appreciation for some of what he did towards trying. Like he tried to. He was one of the voices with like Hamilton during the early days of like writing the original laws, where they were trying to free the slaves like within the first couple of years of the federation existing. They really wanted there to be no slavery in America while they were building it, and then it just didn't happen. And then it took like another 100 years because there was like two generations of people that didn't give a fuck anymore,
Mm.
which is really horrible. And I mean, we kind of saw the same thing with like the civil rights movement into BLM. You know, there was like a bunch of shit, and then nobody gave a fuck for a bunch of time, and then all of a sudden, shit's happening and shit's actually changing.
That's definitely interesting. Um, oh yeah, I wanted to ask you more about like how your faith kind of like
All right.
evolved. Like, can you, yeah, expand more on like the personal faith journey, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep getting sidetracked into
It's
politics.
okay.
I have a habit of that.
It's okay.
Um, so I grew up very Christian. Like I said, it was kind of on and off and rocky for a little bit, but I graduated high school and went to a Christian college. Um, Meanwhile, I was dating a very Christian girl, and dropped out of college because that was in Ohio and I was in upstate New York. Jesus Christ. Fucking hell. Um, and so I dropped out of college, came back to New York, proposed to my girlfriend, and moved in with her. Or not moved in with her, but like moved out of my parents' house and into a place where like we were kind of, she was in and out,
Mm.
but basically we lived together. And uh, we ended up breaking up just before the wedding, and it was kind of like there was I blamed her faith for it in a couple of ways, and I also blamed our pastor for it because he actually kind of encouraged her to do it, which was so like that blame is accurate. So I just kind of was like, yeah, fuck church. Like I'm not going back to that church, to that pastor who like literally told my girlfriend to dump me. Like that's not cool. So I spent a couple of years where I just kind of wasn't involved. I wouldn't call myself I wouldn't have called myself an atheist. I was just like a Christian. I was a bad Christian. Like and I didn't care that I was a bad Christian. Like I just didn't want to be a good Christian.
Mm.
Uh and then I found a church in New York City after I moved down there that actually was like preaching and teaching what I thought Christianity was supposed to be, and like actually about like helping people and doing things, and they just got it in a way that my church back home didn't. And so I was so much stronger into it. I actually this coincided pretty closely with me deciding to run for office, and like for me, the first time that I ever felt like I was actually like heard something directly from God was a conversation about like whether or not I should quit my job and run for office full time. And like I really, it was really weird. I was at church, and one of our lay pastors was preaching, and she was saying something, and I like kind of heard it and interpreted it as like really pertaining to something in my life, you know, how you do with that. And I argued with her in my head, and she gave me the answer. Like she responded to my argument, like in real time, like from
Hmm.
the stage, like in her pre-written speech. And I was just like, okay. And that like actually happened like two or three times in that sermon, and it
That's
like
happened to
really
me at church
freaked me.
before.
Yeah, it like it was the first time that I actually felt like it was real though, and I like that it was actually like talking to God and not just um like just me arguing with my pastor in my head.
Hmm.
And it was and the argument was about like whether or not I would be all right if I quit my job, and it was basically like him saying like, yeah, I got you, you're going to be okay. And then I did that, and I was actually homeless for about a month and a half, but just like couch surfing and staying with friends and people that I met through this church a lot of the time. And people, I didn't miss many meals. I literally had zero income. I was just running for office, just out like in the streets, like handing out literature and doing
Wow.
campaigning shit, and just like people were keeping me alive. And I like it really solidified my faith for quite some time. But this last year, I started really like digging into my faith more and digging into the Bible more, and just realizing that the Bible is kind of bullshit in a lot of places in my opinion. And like there's just things in there that I don't necessarily agree with anymore. uh and I think that modern Christianity gets most of it wrong. And I started looking at other religions, and especially when working for Tulsi helped me kind of look into Hinduism, because I got to talk to her about it a lot, and because she considered herself a Christian Hindu.
Oh,
And
you
I
can be both.
Yeah, that was something I didn't know until I met a couple of people on the campaign, because Hindus, for the most part, or I won't say like
Sorry.
generally, but a lot of Hindus consider Hinduism not to be a religion, but more of a lifestyle, and so you can use it kind of
Okay.
accented with whatever quote unquote religion you want. So if you want,
I've heard of people being a Christian Buddhist before, so I feel
Mhm,
like there's a couple of different Eastern religions that you can kind of use as a lifestyle, but maybe not as a religion.
mhm. And I think that's the biggest difference, and that's kind of why I've started to really love Eastern religions, because they're not really religions. Like, man, people love me,
Why does
I
everyone
guess.
hate you?
I don't know. It's funny. I've been on both of these people's shows multiple times now. Like, I guess I should just stop. Uh,
We've like all been on each other's show at this
mm,
point. I just haven't been on yours, but I've been on both of theirs.
that is true. We will fix that soon.
Yay.
um, but yeah, I figuring out that like for me personally, what it came down to was like realizing that there is no possible way to answer the two questions of like how did we get here and what happens when we leave. Like,
Hmm.
no way to know that. And
Hmm.
so I decided that like basing your life off of a specific answer to either of those two questions is just foolish. And if you're gonna believe in a religion, like put most of your effort and time and thought into the rest of it, not about like the intricate details of like the answers to those two questions. Like if you're spending all your time researching creationism or heaven or hell, like meh, spend more time doing what Jesus told you to do, which is like going out and being of the world and helping people and loving people. maybe do that instead of like reading a bunch of books about hell and figuring out what might happen to you. Like, so that was kind of the realization I came to and like over the summer delve further and further into the different Eastern religions that I like and dislike, and most of them I like, and figuring out where they overlap with what I already believe, and still studying back into Christianity and figuring out what of that I still believe, because I think it's still like a solid 90%. It's just I don't necessarily believe in God, but the rest of
Like
the New
you don't believe the
Testament,
part that makes it real, but you think it's like in general, like if you
yeah,
follow it, it's
yeah,
okay or
yeah.
what?
I mean, it's a good philosophy book in my opinion. Like the
Okay.
Bible is, for me, like the Bible is just like a pretty decent philosophy book mixed with like some historical nonfiction. Because I do believe in Jesus still. Like I fully believe that Jesus existed. Whether or not he was the Son of God, I don't know, but
Mm.
I fully believe that the human Jesus existed, and I think a lot of the
There's
stories
like
are
historic
real.
evidence for that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, yeah, and I think a lot of the stories are real and maybe like over exaggerated, but like I fully believe that he was like able to feed an entire crowd with like just a couple of people's lunches that they were able to like combine together and like feed a whole bunch of people. Like I believe that story happened, whether or not it was like actually 5,000 with like two loaves and five fish or whatever. Like,
That's very
eh,
specific, right?
right. And like really like that's a lot of that's straight up magic. Like or a
That's
miracle.
the
Like
point though. It's a
I
miracle,
mean,
right?
right. I believe in miracles. I don't believe I just think that there is like a level of believability like question at like that number. But that's just me because I've been overly critical for the last couple of months and like specifically reading up on some of those stories and being like, I don't know about that.
Mm. Okay.
But but again, like I believe that he still did that. Like I believe that like they ran out of wine at a wedding and then like there was more wine, and because Jesus is awesome. Like, yeah, that's a
What
thing.
about some really like big miracles in the Bible? Like what about like Moses parting the Red Sea, like that shit?
Hmm. Yeah.
Because I feel like certain like things in history they can be like scientifically explained, like some like catastrophic like fucking weather event or like some shit where like I don't know. I feel like that
Mm.
could be possible. I don't know.
Yeah, and actually that one specifically, there is a little bit of scientific evidence to it happening. There's like they've discovered like some really weird like fossil structures in the Red Sea to like kind of give evidence to that might have actually happened.
Mm,
Um
okay.
so and I what I found really interesting that I learned kind of back in 2019 when I kind of started delving into the idea that maybe there's more than one answer to the question. Uh, what I find interesting is how many people in the Bible other religions claim as part of their religion as well.
Like
S-
how Jesus is like a prophet in Islam, but he's not the son of God.
Right?
Okay.
And like most Buddhists believe that he was a Buddha.
Oh, really? I had no idea he like existed in Buddhism.
I mean, because again, he's a historical figure. Like most people believe that he existed. It's a pretty well known fact. So like the idea
Okay.
that he was a Buddha that discovered that he was God, because that's what a Buddha is like when you figure out that everyone is God and that you are God.
That's weird.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm still in the questioning phase of most of these things, but
Okay.
but yeah, so like Jesus is claimed by a lot, but also Moses and Solomon specifically. Solomon is claimed by most religions actually, and there's some historical evidence to the fact that he did actually practice a shit ton of religions, and because he wanted to like make sure that he checked all the boxes, and he was a really smart dude.
That's so weird, but that makes
Mhm.
sense.
But like there's actually a book, like there's a Key of Solomon, which is his grimoire, which is like his spell book. Like he was a witch. Like um
Whoa. He was
mhm,
freaky.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
you can Google that. You can buy like the Key
Well,
of Solomon from Amazon. I've gotten to I've my friend has a copy, so I've gotten to read it a little bit, but not as much as I wish I had. But yeah, like there's a lot of evidence to the fact that like he asked like almost every god for wisdom. And so like
hmm.
most of the religions say that like he asked their god, and then it's clearly also like historic evidence that Solomon was like the smartest fucking person to ever exist until like maybe Stephen Hawking. So the most of these religions say like, okay, he asked our god and our god said yes, because look at him, he's brilliant. So whichever one you believe, you can kind of like Solomon's on your team no matter what religion you're a part of.
That reminds me of the thing that I've heard some Christians say that is like, well, if I'm wrong, I'm just wrong. If you're wrong, you're going to hell. Like, you might as well just try to believe in it because like the payoff is worth it, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to the consequences. Which
Yeah.
honestly, it sounds really stupid when somebody says that, but then I think about it, I'm like, it's kind of freaky if you think about it real deep though.
Yeah, because it really depends on how you believe in Christianity. Because depending on who you ask, there's a Jesus Christ.
That's very progressive of you to have that many husbands. Wow. I
You
support
see
you.
the Rainbow Gadsden flag behind
I
me.
don't judge. Go ahead. Do you. If you want
Uh,
to have 1400 husbands,
1,400
go
husbands.
ahead.
That no, no, I don't like men as in that way or as friends. So that would just
You
annoy
don't
the.
like men as friends?
No, I have like one male friend, but he's really pissing me off lately. His name is Reed. I don't know. You might know him.
So you're just saying you're just a ladies' man. You just don't like any dudes. You're just like you're all your friends are females. Okay, good for you.
I mean, it actually is kind of true. A lot of like most of the time, my friend group is mostly female, just because it's the people
They
I get
definitely all
along with.
think they
Yeah,
definitely all think that you're gay.
probably.
That's the only explanation. Okay, so you said a lot of interesting things, especially about the Solomon thing. I'm gonna look that up because that sounds very interesting. I've literally never heard that before. I have to do a lot more research because I was raised in the church. I was raised in the Baptist church, but I don't, I don't know if I just didn't pay attention or they just didn't say anything deep, but I felt like church was always very boring, always very like the same thing, the same lesson every Sunday.
Hmm.
I really felt like I didn't know any like Christian history or like any type of religious history. I really knew nothing. We would just talk about like, the typical like miracles and like,
Hmm.
the fucking nativity story, the Moses story, like just like the very core thing. Basically everything I learned you could definitely learn on VeggieTales. Like that's what it was.
Yes.
I had
I've been
first of all, I
singing
fucking
the
love it.
VeggieTales theme song all day. My dad got it stuck in my head this morning,
I
so
fucking
it has
love
been.
VeggieTales.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Fuck
fucking
yes.
love VeggieTales. But anything I knew about Christianity could definitely be summed up in VeggieTales. Oh my god, wait, have you seen Bible Man? I don't know if anyone else was
Of
forced to watch
course.
that as a child. You too?
Fucking
I
loved Bible
literally
Man,
was
dude.
forced to watch Bible Man.
I
Oh,
loved that shit
on a fucking
so
clunky ass
much.
VHS tape.
Mm, love it.
And then the opening
The
sequence
nostalgia.
always got me because it's like he's like a fucking like he's a businessman. He's like having a hard time. He drops to his knees and just picks up a Bible out of the mud, and he's just like, ah. He turns into Bible man. I don't
Yeah,
know. It's pretty cool.
yeah.
But yeah, I've always felt really jealous of kids who weren't forced to watch like Christian movies as children and could watch normal movies.
Hmm.
Um, but no, Bible man was pretty cool. But
Were
anyways,
you
so I
allowed to watch
really
Harry Potter?
I've never seen Harry Potter. I guess I would have. I don't know if I would have been allowed to if I wanted to. I just never seen it in general. There was a
Fair.
lot of Catholics and stuff that don't like Harry Potter, right?
Hmm.
Is it because of
A bunch of the
witchcraft?
kids I grew up in. or grew up with couldn't watch it. Like a bunch, probably like half of my friend group wasn't allowed to watch it.
I never really knew that was a thing until I got on Twitter and I saw people talking about it. But that was
Mm,
never like it was. That was never my childhood.
yeah.
There was a lot of shit I wasn't allowed to watch though. I wasn't allowed to watch
And
SpongeBob.
now
That
these
really
same
pissed me
people
off.
are really worried about cancel culture. Fucking assholes.
Yeah, that honestly does make me laugh because I'm pretty sure once there was this time I was like 4 and I was watching SpongeBob and somebody said the word butt and my mom flipped out. Like I literally thought she was gonna call fucking Nickelodeon and be like, take this shit off the air right fucking now. But it's all these fucking boomers talking about cancel culture. Like, yes, I agree, cancel culture sucks. I don't appreciate it. Blah 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 blah. But they fucking started it. They
Mhm.
fucking started that shit. I have no
Yeah.
sympathy for boomers that get fucking canceled now.
So I'm actually a fan of cancel culture, but I think we need to cancel culture with itself. Like we need to use their own mentalities against them and just
Do you think that
boycott
there are people who
anyone that
deserve to get
participates.
canceled?
I do. Yeah. Like Bill Cosby deserves to be canceled.
Well, he went to jail. That's different. He's
Right.
in prison. I mean, canceled, like, like, when I say cancel, I mean, like, you, like, fucking tag their employers and shit on Twitter and get them, like, kicked out of school. Like, not actually, like, criminal, like, but people who just get canceled.
I mean, if it's not hmm.
Because my favorite canceling was when Papa John got canceled because
Hmm.
he said the N word on like a
Yes.
conference call.
Yes. That one I
And then
agree with.
he came back like 2 weeks ago and it was like, I've taken a year off. I've spent countless months, workshopping on not saying the N word. And I'm like, how fucking hard is it to not like what?
It's
Like
pretty hard. Like
really? It's like a constant struggle. Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
I
I
have
don't
to go
know.
to classes and
Yeah,
therapy.
therapy. Okay, I swear to God, some white people act like it's fucking like a Tourette's thing. Like you just have to say it. I'm like, no, you don't. Anyways, so that was my favorite canceling
Oh my god.
recently. What was your favorite canceling recently?
My favorite canceling. That's a hard question. Honestly, I'm a little bit like I'm I'm enjoying the Doctor or the Dr. Seuss shit a little bit. Because what I'm really loving is
What
watching a
is
bunch
this
of
comment?
people. It's David the Len. First
Are
of all,
you?
first
Are
of all,
you
no.
Latinx?
No. Second of all, I fucking hate that term with a burning passion. And third of all, I appreciate the compliment of being compared to Dave Smith, but I'm just the other Dave. Um, I'm white.
Latinx. Please never say that shit in my chat ever again.
Facts.
Please don't say that
God
shit.
damn. Fucking, oh my God. Fucking
I
white
saw
liberals and
somebody
their dumb
say
shit.
like Filipino, but Philippine X the other day
No, no.
because it's still like gendered. And that's when I really lost my shit because I was like, I have never seen any Filipinos complain about this shit ever.
Mm,
Ever. I
mm,
don't even see any Latino
mm,
people
mm.
complaining about
The thing
gender
is, you
language.
can't say X in Spanish. It doesn't work. Not in that context. Like, it doesn't work. You can't say Latinx in Spanish. So, why would you create a word for Spanish speaking people that they can't fucking pronounce?
At first, I didn't. When I first started singing, I didn't know how to pronounce it. I was like, "Are people saying like Latinx? Like, what the fuck are people writing?" Like, I didn't get it at first. I
Oh my
was
God,
like,
I'm definitely going to say Latinx. From now
That's what
on,
I
it is
thought people were
Latinx.
saying. I was like, who the fuck are these Latinx people and why are they so fucking mad? Like, I literally, because it made no fucking sense to me. It really made no fucking sense to me. And then I found out what it meant, and I was like, I wish it
Oh
was
my God.
actually Latinx because this is even fucking stupider.
Mm,
And now they've
yeah.
censored the word woman and put an X in the A.
Oh my God, did you see the video of them saying amen and a women in the fucking Senate?
Yes. I That one, that cringe actually hurt. That one actually caused me to have a
Yeah,
physical
yeah.
reaction. I felt nauseous. I felt nauseous. I was like, it's just, I really am not a fan of political theater. I don't like people virtue signaling. I don't like people getting paid by tax dollars to sit up there and just like fucking crack jokes and say shit like amen and a woman. Like it was just fucking pointless. It was almost
You know what
offensive
I
the
wish
fact that
the
they
Senate
do this
like
pointless ass shit.
I
Go
agree. I'm
ahead.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I have you watched any videos of how the British Parliament looks?
How they look?
Have you
Yeah.
watched any videos of them?
Yes. Yeah. I
It's
had to
fucking
research a little bit.
awesome. Like they're fucking screaming across the aisle from each other like your fucking mom's a whore. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why couldn't Congress I mean, can't we have
I
some
love
fun
British
like that
insults. I
for
love
Christ's
that.
sake? Oh my god. It's so great. Also, Reed, if you're still watching, you need to go back and like screenshot all of your jokes about the fucking a woman thing that you posted because that was a lot of them and they were brilliant and they need to be brought back.
When will I endorse Hillary 2024? Never. I do not endorse Hillary 2024. I mean, I should
Actually,
also say I am
I
not
would love
currently
for her to run.
suicidal. So I'm not currently suicidal. So if I do end up dead from saying that, it was definitely Hillary Clinton. Um,
Mhm. I actually do endorse Hillary 2024. I would love to see that shit happen.
how fucking old would
I
she
would
be?
love for
She'd
it
be
to
like,
be.
how old is she now?
Could
She's like
you
80.
imagine if 24 ended up being Clinton Trump again?
Oh my God.
Oh my god, it would be Clinton Harris versus like Trump Gates
Oh my
or
God.
Trump Green,
Literal.
Marjorie
Oh,
Taylor Green.
you're literally gonna make me have a panic attack. Like, please don't even speak that shit into
Oh my god.
existence. That is disgusting. That seems like a
Oh
dystopian
my god.
society
Oh
I
my
don't want to
god.
live in. I'm actually disgusted right now. Just thinking about
Yo,
Marjorie.
check Reed's in I check the latest comment though, because I think that's worse than anything I said.
Why would this ever happen? Why would
I mean, they are literally best friends. Like they have been friends for 30 fucking years.
Oh wait, David, this one is for you. If you don't have a yellow
Mm.
square in your
Oh,
bio, then you're racist.
I
What's this
do have a
yellow
yellow
square?
square in my
What
bio.
is this yellow square business about?
Well, it's in solidarity for the Asian population that's being
Ah,
attacked.
I see, I see, I see, I see. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It does the same exact thing as when everyone was fucking posting those fucking black squares on Instagram. And literally I got tagged in so many of those. Like so many of my followers were tagging me in these like Instagram chains of like, oh, I shared the black square, it's like tag 5 friends and they'll share it. And I didn't share it. And so many of my friends got mad at me. This happened to me like 3 different times. I was like, what the fuck is it doing? What the fuck is it doing? First of all, it's gonna clutter up my feed. I don't want a discombobulated feed. I want my shit to look nice. Second of all, it doesn't do anything.
Right.
So, like, literally, people started unfollowing me because I did not post a black square. People are like, Olivia, you're a coon. Coon for not posting a fucking Instagram picture? What the fuck?
Fuck. I can't. How is that? How is saying that not worse than anything else? Like,
Okay, let me address. Hold on. Let me address this comment because can I just say this? I unironically love Sarah Palin, and I will say that till the day that I die. Don't slander Sarah Palin on my
reparations for
channel.
boosters.
Don't talk shit about Sarah Palin on my channel. I fucking love Sarah Palin. So that's definitely gonna get fucking posted later, and someone is gonna be so mad at me because I said that. I love Sarah Palin. She had that fucking
Yo,
reality
when she
show back
came
in
out
like
against
2008.
Trump's war shit,
Huh?
when she said that we needed to pull out of the Middle East, like unironically, I was like, yeah, yeah, do that. Cool.
I just thought she was great.
You're not a neocon anymore.
Also, I kind of do love Mary Z. Way. Yeah, I just liked her because she had that reality show in like 2008, and I like used to watch it religiously as a second grader, and I just wanted to be her so bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was really great. And
I
then
can
Marianne
actually
Williamson, I feel like
unironically get
she
behind Sarah Palin, Marianne Williamson. Like that actually is a ticket that I have not heard anyone talk about, but like literally,
that's
that's
the
not a
real woman power
terrible
ticket.
idea.
That
That is a
is
fucking
the
great
feminist ticket.
ticket. Because together,
Wait,
I
I
think
feel like
together they make a
Reed
good
definitely put
president.
this as a joke. Reed definitely put that as a joke, but that is a fantastic ticket, and I will 100% throw
Mm-hmm.
all of my support behind the Sarah Palin Marianne Williamson ticket.
Unity, bros.
This is the liberty unity we're talking about. This is what we need. Oh my god. Okay, we are coming up on an hour. Do you have anything else you wanted to say regarding your religious philosophical views? Anything at all?
Well, I'll touch on where it all ties together because you kind of asked that in the beginning. I think that my religious views and my political views are exactly the same, and I think that more people need to live a philosophical libertarian lifestyle instead of just a political libertarian lifestyle
Mm,
because we are so fucking aggressive about the not aggression principle and it's and we're just such an oxymoron of a movement in so many ways, and I think that we need to live and practice what we preach. We need to help other people and build a community and participate in mutual aid, and we need to live the live and let live lifestyle. We need to be good people and be like proving to the people around us that we don't have to have government to exist. And I think that that totally coincides with everything that any Eastern religion would teach. It's about like helping
okay.
your community, and it's about building up yourself and caring about yourself, and then making sure that the people around you are okay, and then trying to build the best world that you can build, and that's libertarianism. And too many of us are into this like super like political wonky like or like just policy plank style libertarianism, and that was me like for a long time too. It was I was arguing the literal like by the definition like the words on the website policy planks, and I think it's really just about I treated it a lot like Christians would treat missionaryism, of like evangelism, of like trying to convince people, where like the Eastern religions say show people, and you don't care. Like if you're a Hindu, you don't care if the other person is a Hindu, as if they're doing good shit, cool. Like, and
Right.
that's libertarianism. Like,
Okay.
so I think the two movements can learn from each other, and we can kind of we can build a coalition with the hippies, like, because they're really
Hmm.
libertarians.
Okay, I've never thought about religion in that way before, and um I feel like unironically you open my third eye. From when I already had my third eye open because of my acid trip. Oops, I wasn't supposed to say that on live.
Mm.
But you open my fourth eye.
Oop.
So thank you for that.
Nice.
If no one else has any more comments, I'm gonna end the live right there. But tell people where to find you. I already put your Twitter and YouTube down there, but if you have any other social medias or websites, definitely share that.
Yeah, so yeah, Twitter at David Fite or at Fight for Liberty. Um, definitely follow. And then there's YouTube channels for Fight for Liberty and then Fighting Friends. That's where we'll be doing the Monday night lives with me and Reed and Stacia and hopefully Jeremy Todd as well. And then Instagram and Facebook, Fight for Liberty also. And if you want to get some cool merch, you can go to shop.fightforliberty.com. There's some t-shirts and some hats and some masks and some mugs and beanbag chair cover if you really wanted that in your life.
Awesome. That is also great.
It was a thing
So
I could make, and so
wow, that
Reed,
is
I
awesome
don't
that
have
you guys
any
have a
fans.
beanbag chair cover. That is fantastic. So just thank you so much, David Fight from Fight for Liberty.
Thank
Go
you
check
for
him out,
having me. This was
guys.
great.
I know. Again, you opened my fourth eye. I'm feeling very enlightened right now. I really appreciate it. Well, I don't actually have the schedule for who's coming on next week yet because I asked like 3 different people and I have different dates for everybody and no one settled on a date yet. But I have some cool people lined up for the next live stream. So you guys come back probably next Sunday for more. And with that, I will bid you all a good night.